Chapter 26 of the Sports Psychologist Handbook is Sports Psychology and Fitness Activities. In this presentation, we will go over Chapter 26 and its contents, an article over childhood obesity, and another article over how athletes use imagery. Physical fitness and health correlate in many different ways. Physical inactivity is the cause of numerous diseases and psychological problems. Conditions such as heart disease, osteoporosis, diabetes, and depression have been linked directly to physical inactivity. Physical activity has been proven to reduce your chances of getting these different types of diseases. At an early age, children develop certain patterns that promote physical inactivity or activity. These patterns go on throughout their whole lifetime, and if a child decides to be physically inactive at a very young age, it can have very adverse effects later in life. According to a study conducted in 1994, boys and girls from 9th and 12th grade have decreased in physical activity significantly. Boys have decreased from 81% to 67%, while girls have decreased from 61% to 41%. Now, these statistics are very alarming, and these kids are in high school, and this can lead to several of the aforementioned diseases. Childhood physical inactivity is not just something that affects the U.S., it's a leading cause of death around the world. Over 1.9 million deaths occur from physical inactivity or diabetes or any disease relating to being physically inactive every year. Several things have been done to combat obesity, especially things in childhood obesity. In 2008, new guidelines were set and new labels were put on food so children would know, and different foods were put in schools, and they limited things like trans fats and sugary drinks in school cafeterias. The media has also stepped in providing PSAs and several different announcements that let parents know that this is a real thing, that providing well-balanced meals for your child is very important. Public schools have tried several different things in getting rid of sugary drinks and sugary snacks from their vending machines. This has allowed children to adapt healthier eating habits, and hopefully these eating habits will stick with them for a lifetime. Just by getting rid of the temptation, this has allowed children to get better eating habits. There are several different components to being physically active. One, for instance, is cardiovascular fitness. Cardiovascular fitness is the ability of the body's circulatory system and respiratory system to supply fuel during sustained physical activity. Activities such as running or swimming are perfect examples of how to increase cardiovascular fitness. Muscular strength is your muscle's ability to exert force. Lifting heavy objects, such as like weightlifting, is how you gain muscle strength. Muscular endurance is the ability of the muscle to perform repeated movements without fatigue. Things like burnout sets on bench is how you develop muscular endurance. Muscular endurance helps develop body composition. Body composition refers to the amount of muscle, fat, and bone and other tissues of the body. A good, healthy body composition would be about 12% body fat, although under 5 for males and under 10% is considered unhealthy. Over 25% body fat for males is considered obese, and 35% for women. Flexibility is the range of motion around a joint. Simple things like stretching increase your flexibility. Some common issues involving psychology and fitness involve physical activity as it declines through childhood. As I said before, when children set bad patterns of physical fitness, it grows throughout a lifetime. Another problem is the exact number of people who exercise. A conservative number of how many people exercise around the world would be about 50%, and about 25% of people do not exercise at all. Someone's education level and their level of physical activity directly correlate. It's probably safe to say that the more educated you are on eating habits and how to work out, that you're more likely to be physically active. But if you're lower on the education and don't know, you're less likely to be physically active. Another interesting fact is that low income groups or low income minority groups tend to be less physically active. Low-income groups may not be able to afford simple things like gym memberships or personal trainers that higher level income groups can afford, and this can lead to physical inactivity. For physical fitness, several different theories have been developed. The physical self-concept theory is based off 5 sub-theories that explain how we equate our self-worth. The first of these 4 theories is sports competence. Sports competence comes from our athletic ability, our ability to learn sports skills, and confidence while in sports environments. The next is physical condition. The physical condition is our perceived level of physical conditioning, which correlates with our stamina and our fitness levels. The third subdomain is body attractiveness. It is just our simple perception of how we see our body and if it is attractive or not. Then there is physical strength, which is just our confidence in situations requiring strength and our muscle development. The final subtheory is our physical self-worth, which is our general feelings of happiness, satisfaction, pride, respect, and confidence in physical self. A big part of the physical self-concept theory is body image. Body image is closely related to our physical well-being and self-esteem. The next theory is the decision theory, which involves the individual's perception and evaluation of relative costs and benefits of exercise. This is applied through a person making a list of what would happen if they were to start an exercise program. Then there is the self-determination theory. It is a theory that focuses on self-motivation and ways the social environment can optimize performance and well-being. The next theory is the social cognitive theory, which centers around the concept of self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is situation-specific confidence, such as when a batter goes up to bat, how confident they are in hitting the ball. Self-efficacy stems from 4 very important sources: performance accomplishments, vicarious experiences, verbal persuasion, and emotional arousal. Goal setting is a very important part of physical fitness. One of the components of successful goal setting is to set specific goals. Specific goals include like very objective numbers, not I'm going to go out and try and do my best, but I want to gain 5 pounds on bench. The next thing to do is to set realistic goals. When you're setting a goal, you can't expect to be able to lift 300 pounds by the end of the month if you haven't been working out. Goals have to be attainable. There's also, you have to write down your goals. You cannot just think about them, otherwise they won't be properly reinforced each day. Many people actually keep logs on keeping track of their goals. This is why it's important to write down your goals. For example, if someone were trying to lose weight, they want to keep track of the weight they've lost across each week and month. Next is to set what's called a performance or process goal. Performance and process goals are what you do to achieve an outcome, such as a runner wanting to complete a marathon would have to wake up every morning and run miles each day to finish that marathon. That is a process goal, not the outcome of getting first place. It is important psychologically to set process and performance goals and measure them as you go along. The next is getting support for your goals. Physical fitness is a process and it takes a while to achieve physical fitness. Therefore, having someone to support you in your endeavors would help. Then you must evaluate and then reevaluate your goals through across the whole process. Evaluating your goals is important because if something comes up or something changes, you have to reevaluate your goal to fit what you can obtain. Athletes readily use imagery to prepare themselves for games. Athletes often use it during practice situations to prepare themselves, and they imagine what it would be like during a game. More confident athletes and people who are more physically active in general are more likely to use imagery techniques. Athletes use imagery in hopes that it will directly influence their skills utilized during games. Imagery is more effective when it has a strong personal meaning to the athlete. It is also very important of what type of imagery the athlete uses. For example, there's kinesthetic imagery, which is the experiencing the movement, and then there's auditory imagery, which is hearing. In conclusion, we've gone over physical fitness as it correlates to health, how to combat childhood obesity, the components of physical activity, the different theories revolving around physical fitness, how to set goals, and how athletes use imagery.